Hello and welcome to Awareness Talks. I'm your host, JamieLynn, and today we're going to be talking about mindful thinking. So the topic is hard versus easy. So when we look at something and we say that's hard, we're actually placing an emotion and a belief that limits us. And when we look at something and we say that this is going to be easy, we place in a belief that is inspiring to us. Let's take a little bit closer look at this. We say something's going to be hard, then the experience of it is hard, and then there we have our proof. It's hard. Now when we go in to say something is easy, and the experience of that is then easy, then we have a belief that it's easy. Now let's look at something as a little more tangible in real life. Let's look at an adult tying their shoes and a child tying their shoes. Now as an adult, we've had plenty of practice tying our shoes. In fact, I bet you don't even have to think about it. As a child, we've shown them a handful of times what to do, and now we have this expectation that they're going to figure it out on their own. So for us, tying shoes is easy, and for a kid trying to figure it out, they have this belief that it's hard. So this belief of learning new things is hard or can be hard ends up becoming a limited belief that we carry into our future. So that can create anger, that can create frustration, and our goal is to look at things that we can eliminate out of our life that's not going to be stressful or cause anger or frustration. And we can't always eliminate certain circumstances, but we can transform how we view the circumstances. So let me give you an example from my own life. For years, every single time I would go to do the dishes for the family or myself, I would be angry. It was automatic. As soon as I stepped in front of that sink, I was angry. Okay, so one day I asked, why? Why am I angry? Well, let's look at a couple of things. First of all, let's acknowledge the fact that I am angry, because 99% of the time, I had no idea that I was angry until I stopped to notice. So I acknowledged the fact that I had this emotion called angry sitting there, apparently, in my kitchen sink. So there's the acknowledgement. But let's look a little deeper. Where was that? Like in my past, where was that? How old was I? What was the story that played out that had me believe that doing dishes, I had to be angry? So I was looking, and I was actually 9 years old, and my mother was telling me I was doing it wrong or I wasn't fast enough. And then as I looked even deeper, I could hear my own voice say, you should have this done sooner. You have to cook dinner. Hurry up. So you can imagine that in my childhood 9-year-old mind, whether my mother was actually yelling or if she wasn't, doesn't really matter. The words that she was saying doesn't really matter. It's how I took it, how I processed that information. So I took that she was angry, that I wasn't doing this fast enough or whatever, and then I projected that into my future. And I lived into that. Every time I would go to step in front of the sink, I would live into, I'm not doing it right, fast enough, good enough, should have, and so then I carry it on. The only way that I can stop doing that is by acknowledging, which I just did. I looked at how old I was when I first started to believe this, and then I looked at the emotion that was there. So let's look at something else. What can I do to replace that? So I have this memory of my grandma. She's leaning against the counter, and I'm doing her dishes for her just as a kind thing to do. And I laugh at her. I was like, Grandma, I get to wash my hands in your sink because I'm doing your dishes. You can't tell me not to. Now, in Grandma's world, guests don't pick up a finger, and you wash your hands in the bathroom. So this was a running joke for me. Now I can choose to bring that memory forward when I go to do the dishes. And when I go to do the dishes, I have an opportunity to spend time thinking about my grandma and everything she provided for me. So how does this apply for you? Look at your life. Try it out for yourself. Where are things you have this automatic thought or this automatic emotion? Why is it there? Let's look into the past. Acknowledge that it's there. Let's look into the past, see why it's there. What's the story? How old were you? What was the emotion? And let's see if we can pick a different thing to come in from our past that brings us joy and place it in that moment. Thank you so much for your time and have a wonderful day. See you next time.